to use somewhere and we can accommodate it, we'll let them do it. Same for them.
The land agreement will come later. We're just not there yet.
Okay.
But we're working on it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, it's, to me, it's a win-win. I mean, why not? I mean, I would take advantage of this, in the position that we are, so I don't know. Ed, you have any questions on it at all? Or-
So is it your intention, Mayor, to give the land to them?
No,
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Is the next stop Beaumont?
after this, yes.
All right, I'd like to put my name.
Okay.
They haven't asked for the land, but we've told them that at the very least, we expect maintenance of the land. Because right now, we're maintaining it. So they also have talked about different facilities, and we have told them, we want to be able to take advantage of those if they, whether it's a parking lot or a pickleball court or a tennis court or a practice field, we want to be able to use that. But right now, they're not sure what they want to use it for.
They have nice facilities.
Sure. Sure.
Okay. I've been to the field there, but I don't know that maybe years ago when they first opened, I went to the, Mom and I went in there to the gymnasium, but I can't remember that.
So do you anticipate they're going to build anything on
No.
the land that is the city's now?
Maybe restrooms, I think is really the only thing they talked about building.
It'd be hard pressed to build a lot of buildings.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's flood.
Yeah.
Floods.
Typically, you
Yeah.
can't build
Yeah.
any buildings on those buyouts.
Yeah.
It's usually passive uses like
Mhm.
park.
It would be hard even to construct tennis courts or anything on there.
I don't see anything like a gymnasium or like a field house. I don't see that.
So do you, and I guess we'll wait, the agreement will come back to us.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. I'll wait till we see the agreement.
I feel like we're sort of getting our win right now.
Well, I do too, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion on this resolution? All right, hearing none, and Mayor Claire, do you agree with Mr. Martin being a co-sponsor? Okay.
For sure.
We'll add that on there for you, Alderman Martin. Hearing no other further discussion, is everyone ready to vote? Does anybody need the resolution?
You send it to Beaumont with the recommendation for approval.
Yes, we're gonna approve it. Hopefully by this vote, and then we'll send it on to Beaumont after we do this. All in favor of the resolution 2025-22, which is approving an agreement with Pope John Paul II School for the shared use of the city parks and Pope John Paul and the Pope John Paul II school facilities, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, and that one passes. Now we're on to, we've got a slew of other agenda items, but if there's no objection, Alderman Dixon,
I do not know where my
okay.
constituent is.
Well, I tell you what, we'll go ahead and go on,
Go ahead.
and then if he shows up, we'll suspend everything else that we're doing. We'll get to you.
Thank you.
All right, does any other alderman have someone here that we need to discuss? No.
What is she speaking on?
I didn't
What are you
see you
speaking on?
sneak in. How
What is
are
my
you?
constituent speaking on?
Good to
He's
see you. Haven't seen
wanting
you
to
in a
be
while.
here for the Indian Lake multi-stop,
Lake Terrace. It's item number.
Lake Terrace Indian
Yeah,
Lake.
it's item 4, so we'll just keep it there, and then we'll give him the amount of time to do that. Let's go in with our trash collection update.
Good news again, misses are still remaining very low. The max that we had reported in one day was 13, which is just very extremely low compared to what we used to have.
Yeah,
Good news.
that's extremely good. So let's just keep that up, especially in all this hot weather, man. They're
working hard.
Yeah, they are. They're hustling. Okay, we're gonna wait on the Indian Lake Road. I'm sorry. For the Lake Terrace, we'll pause on that and
Okay.
see. We'll
Okay,
make
that's
sure that-
next time. That's fine.
Yes, it is, but we'll do that. Creekwood Drive, or excuse me, yeah, the Creekwood traffic calming.
Yes, so this was one that we discussed a couple of years ago, where we had received a request for traffic calming along Creekwood. We did the analysis and found that the 85th percentile did warrant some traffic calming.
Really?
And we proposed to move forward with the lane line markings, which we typically do for the first step. And when the pavement marking company was out there just laying everything out, the residents were not in favor of the pavement markings. And so we decided, we brought it back to Public Works Committee and spoke about it and decided to hold off. And so the discussion has resurfaced. And was there anything else that you would like
Well,
to
we
add?
received a letter
Yes,
from Mr. Little,
yes.
and he is requesting traffic calming in the area.
Yes.
So,
So based on that, we brought it back for discussion as to whether we would reapply, try again and reapply the pavement markings, with resident notification ahead of time.
what about the customer notification? Is that gonna come from
We can
Jesse
do
or
that.
you, or,
We can do that.
okay? Okay,
If,
and,
I'm sort of looking for some direction and some thoughts from Board 6 and from this committee.
well,
We don't have to make a decision tonight, or we don't have to make a recommendation tonight.
right. So if you send the letter out, what would the notification, is that just notifying them that you're gonna stripe the street? That it's gonna be done?
I would think so. Or we could allow a comment period similar to what we do for streetlights.
That's fine.
But the traffic committee recommended to do it. Is that correct?
It was approved. So it's not necessarily that we want to go put down the lane line markings everywhere, but it did meet the criteria.
And the land markings would be yellow stripes in the street and white on the sides, right?
Yes, that's correct. And one of the recommendation included a bike lane. There was enough room in the road to add a bike lane, which would add some walking areas since there are no sidewalks.
Well, I would like to move forward with the notification and kind of do it like we did the street lights, in Spear Point and Arrowhead.
So like a 30-day comment period?
Yeah, 30-day comment period, and then bring it back to us
Okay.
at the next meeting. Or whenever.
Okay.
Okay. I don't think that's needed a motion to that. We can ask you to do that. The committee can ask you to ask Public Works Department to do that. Is there any objection on that? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and just request it.
Okay.
And I'll tell you this, it doesn't make any difference to me, but Patty, do you just want to say the committee has requested, or would you like to say that you did? Or
Well, let's keep it the committee.
Okay.
Keep it the
The
committee.
committee's asked you to do that.
Okay.
Did you want to speak on something recently?
We're getting more and more complaints about speeding.
We are.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it. It's not me this time,
Yeah.
so it's.
Durham
just-
Farms has complained about speeding, Drake's Creek Road.
Mhm.
So. I don't know the solution. What some states have done, they are installing speed limit cameras and catching people electronically. Now, that's not Tennessee, but that's other states have done that.
Yeah.
But it's a problem nationwide, speeding on the streets. So more and more, I think constituents are going to ask for devices, stop signs, for whatever, to try to slow down people.
Yeah.
I know in Autumn Creek, the HOA installed 2 of the solar speed limit indicators.
Okay.
And I've talked to some people there, and it's helped.
Mhm.
It has slowed people down in the neighborhood when they see they're going 35 miles an hour,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, those are effective.
thank you.
Yeah, just keep us up to date on that and what happens. Then we've got Indian Lake Road and
It's a rectangular rapid flashing beacon.
See if you can say that 3 times real
Yeah.
quick.
That's why I said it slowly.
Yeah,
I like the abbreviations.
let's go with that. And so what do we have on that?
So these units, this is what we have installed on Saundersville Road at Ashcrest there, near the library. And we've installed one on Indian Lake Road. And so last year we funded an installation at Indian Lake Road and Hut Court. Because we had installed one just south of there at the other school crossing. And in evaluating this location, we had some pretty significant concerns about the location of the marked crosswalk there. Currently, when the whoever's crossing, the children or whoever, they're crossing from the east side, and then on the west side, they're actually crossing right into a drive lane. And the grades there are also kind of an issue for students that are trying to access the school from that drive lane. And so in order to maximize safety and to make it as ADA compliant as possible, our traffic engineer evaluated and provided a recommendation to actually move that crossing just a little bit south and to install new curb ramps there as well. And that would require some coordination, of course, with the county. But we believe that to be a safer, more efficient option for the crossing there. So I just want to bring it to committee for discussion.
Okay. Any questions or
Is that in
comments?
Ward 4?
What are we talking about?
Near, what is that school on the corner of Indian Lake?
Oh.
Thank you.
Oh.
I drew a complete blank.
It's 4 2.
Yeah, I think it's.
I think it's 2, yeah.
No, Ward 1 is. What are you talking about, Willis?
Okay.
All right. You have any questions or comments on that?
No,
It's pretty
I'm looking-
self, okay. If you do, just come back to the committee. I don't have any. I think that's just fine, so. We'll go ahead and talk about the Arrowhead streetlights.
Okay. We received a request from a resident to provide a street light on the road, and our city engineer, in performing his review, found that there were no street lights in the entire neighborhood.
Right.
And so he reviewed the entire neighborhood and provided recommendations for streetlights that met the intent of our policy for street lighting. And so that went through traffic and parking, and then that was one that we also brought to Public Works Committee because we will be adding a notable number of streetlights to our existing bill. And so that was approved. We sent out a notification letter to all of the residents in the subdivision because it would be pretty significant change.
Yeah.
And gave a 30-day comment period. And we received some positive, but primarily negative feedback. A lot of the residents did not want streetlights. But there were some areas where either we didn't receive any comments or they were positive. And so in areas where they were primarily positive or no response, we decided to bring it back to committee to decide whether we should install streetlights at those locations and just refrain from installing any streetlights in areas where we had received a lot of negative feedback.
Okay.
Are streetlights required for ADA purposes? Intersections, is there any ADA regulations regarding streetlights?
Possibly. I'd have to actually look into that to clarify that. But I don't know sidewalks. I don't know if there are any,
What, an Arrowhead?
if there's ADA access
Oh.
in Arrowhead.
Yeah, there's not. I don't think
I don't think data sidewalks are at all.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think there is either.
So staff is proposing 1, 2, 3 street lots in this area, right?
I believe
3. 1,
we'd
2,
have
3. 4.
four.
Four.
One with stop 30.
Okay. I move approval. You need a motion or just,
We could use a motion, that would be good.
I'll make a motion that we approve the street lots where there were no objections.
All right, there's been a motion that we approve where streetlights should go with, where there's no objection by the residents out there in Arrowhead subdivision. I need a second. Okay, there's been a proper motion and proper second. Is there any discussion on this at all? I know we've already really kind of discussing it, but does anybody need the motion repeated? Hearing none, is everybody ready to vote? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, it passes unanimously. So the traffic or the streetlights will go where there's no objection.
Okay,
And
thank you.
thank you very much. Okay.
Those are LED too.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Discussion on the beautiful Hendersonville Bridge facade. We need a update on that. I know we've gotten some emails about it, but we need formally to talk about it.
Okay, so the last time you all met, beautiful Hendersonville brought 2 proposals, I believe. One for the Saundersville Road Bridge for the stone on the roadside to be removed and replaced. That was $37,625. And then one for the Drakes Creek Bridge that enters off of Conway Twitty Lane in front of the old DCAC building, the old main entrance, to remove and replace the stone on the inside roadside of that bridge, $49,623. Discussion was for Parks to meet with beautiful Hendersonville and Centurion Stone to look at and discuss the backside of the bridge also on going into Drakes Creek.
Bridge.
If you go and look at that, there are bricks falling off the creek side. It's just as in disrepair as the inside. Centurion quote to do that Drakes Creek Bridge on both sides was $159,864. I think at this point, Public Works and Parks had discussed just removing the stone and painting the bridges like the one that's at the Demos entrance to make those all look the same.
Right.
We had a quote to do that, to sand them down and paint them. That would still leave potentially the outside of the one going into Drakes Creek Park with us knowing that bricks are falling off on it and people kayaking under it and things like that. And it looks bad. It really does look bad. They all look bad. The 2 that are in question, they're not a good representation of the city at this point. But I think for us as a staff, we will need direction, probably from this committee or even above, as to what you want the bridges to look like and how much you want to spend inside the roadside, and if we want to remove the stone that is in disrepair on the outside of the bridges too. I don't think you got to make that decision right now. I think our job was to bring you more information and maybe bring you something in the middle of the year. I think that was discussed, perhaps. Could be a potential adjustment in mid-year if there's money available for such a project, or even next year. The bridges they're not falling down, right? So, but they do look bad, and it doesn't look good. And my concern with only doing the inside of the one going into Drakes Creek, and I'll confess, we did not go and look at the one on Saundersville on the outside of the creek side. But if we spend all that money and do the inside, and then we leave the outside to still look like it does, and bricks continue to fall off of it into the creek, what have we really done? That's my concern on that. So that's my update. I'll take questions if you have them, or it's the best I got right now.
Well, the reason Kathy brought this to me is because it's invoice 6. So the
Saundersville
bridge,
Road.
the Saundersville.
Gotcha.
And I had mentioned earlier about the Greg's Creek,
Mm-hmm.
bridge not looking good. Kathy, with Beautiful Hendersonville, said, Mayor, that you asked her to look at ways to beautify it. So that's why she got involved in the situation. I guess from a city perspective, Mayor, it's okay. I'd like to ask what the mayor thinks about.
So
About
long,
this.
long ago, Kathy and I had a general conversation about bridges. My focus was on the bridges that as you come in to Hendersonville on the east and west side, the big bridges of Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. That was really my focus. But she mentioned that we have some other bridges that we've tried to make look nice. I wanted to sort of do something, on the structures of those bridges that just had a little bit of decorative feel to it. But she mentioned to me that we have some bridges that have a decorative feel that aren't doing real well right now. $159,000 is a hard pill to swallow. It really, really is. I need to get my kayak and take a look on the outside of those bridges. Yeah. And those the outside of them aren't real visible. Drake's Creek is a little different because the way you're coming in and then take the left turn. I have a hard time spending that kind of money, I'll tell you.
I think the cost went up astronomical when we put in the outside of the bridge, because they're gonna have to build scaffolding in the creek to do that. I think if we just did the inside, it would be a lot cheaper, and that's what the bulk of the people look at.
Mhm. I don't know that we need really what they are is they're vertical pavers is what they are. They're rocks, but they're not real rocks. They're very thin. They're just facade covers is what they are. I don't know that we need to replace those. If we could do something that's decorative, that's more like paint, I'm okay with that. But I think you're right also, is the most important part is the inside of the bridge, not the outside.
So did you get a bid on stripping them off and sanding them?
Yes, we brought that to the last meeting. We had already had that estimate.
How much was it?
It was like $139 to do both, to take all the stone off and sand it down and paint it.
Both bridges,
Mhm.
both sides, even Sandersville?
Yes, sir. Now, that was 8 months ago. I had to get them to redo it. I mean, update it, but I can bring that back at some
We
point.
could do something.
That's a lot of money to put new stone on that bridge. I don't.
So you don't like the 159. I don't much like the 139 either.
I don't either. That's what I was
Well,
gonna say.
it's actually not 159, it's 159 plus,
Plus, that was
30
that was one bridge.
yeah,
That was Drake
30,
Street.
36 or 37,000
Correct.
for the other one.
And
So,
that's without us looking at the outside of the,
right, look at all
which
this.
the other one, no one's seeing the outside of that as near as much unless you're in the creek. Because you see the Drake's Creek one as you're driving into the park. You see the outside of that bridge without question. And we have kayakers, and we don't determine when a brick falls off of it.
Right. A lot of people use that bridge at Drake's Creek. The festivals and everything, people walk through there, and I just think it's a bad image for the city.
Yeah, I agree.
So you need a motion.
I don't know that we need anything. I just, at some point, we probably do. I don't exactly know what we need. We don't have the money budgeted to do
No.
anything, so we don't know that we would need a motion. Maybe we bring
We
the
just keep thinking.
proposal back at some point and see if you want to amend the budget or do it next year or something. But
So was stripping the stone and sanding it something employees can do, or do we need to have a vendor do it?
you'd have to turn to your right to answer that question.
Really?
Yeah, we don't really have the staff resources for that.
All right, so we've got bids. How do we turn that into properly procured service?
We could reissue a request for proposal. I did do that previously and we did not receive any submittals on it. But it has been, I don't know, over a
Been a
year,
while, hasn't it?
maybe 2 years now. Time goes by so fast, but so we probably have to reissue that to meet the requirements of our procurement policy. If we receive no submittals again, there may be some justification to request quotes from contractors and then go that path.
So on smaller projects, it's hard to get attention to it. So something that Metro's done is they bid out like a 5-year service contract for smaller construction projects or major maintenance. And we'll award it to 5 small contractors. And then when we have projects like this, or with that building we had an issue with, you just get quotes from those guys and they can go to the market to get whatever.
Yeah.
So just an idea.
Okay. Thank you.
So what I'm hearing is let's just think about it, and then when it comes back or comes out, we'll say.
At some point,
Yeah,
we're gonna need a
addressed.
greater power than me and Sarah to tell us, do you want it to put stone back or do you want it painted?
And it's probably something that the board will have to make.
I think we can we can put out a bid and get options and alternatives.
Yeah.
And maybe even show you what it could look like. But then it would be up to Velma at some point.
Well, my preference right now is to strip it off and sand it and paint it. That's a lot of money, about $200,000.
It is, that's.
And I'm wondering too, to try to lower the cost, do we need to do both sides of Saunders Ferry Bridge?
I'd have to look at it.
Just the inside
You're
of
talking about Saundersville Road.
Saundersville Road.
Yes, sir. Well, the cost we have now is just, what's that?
Oh, it is?
Knowledge.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
All right, so you all know what we're doing on the bridge right now, so I don't have to repeat anything on that. Let's go with the flashing yellow arrows.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
We recently implemented flashing yellow arrow at drawing a blank on that location. We're looking at
Any
thank
wrecks?
you, Main
Oh my
Street
God, got 'em all.
and Indian Lake Road. Yes.
Yeah, any wrecks?
No, it's been successful.
Good.
The comments on the Facebook post were primarily positive. Most people were very excited about that. We do have 3 more planned locations. They started work this morning. There's some additional work that needs to be done, excuse me. And that will be Cherokee and Main Street, and then Indian Lake Boulevard at Saundersville Road, and also the streets of Indian Lake. And so we've received a lot of requests since we installed the other one. One of the main locations has been Indian Lake Boulevard at 386, the northbound left turn lane. And it's not a good candidate. And so our traffic engineer has come up with a plan to increase the capacity through there. So he's going to double serve that left turn. And so that was something that Alderman Robertson and I had discussed, and he asked that I add this to the agenda.
Sure.
for
So
discussion.
why is that not a good candidate? And first of all, the 4 are budgeted, right, to do the 4.
Mhm.
And we're gonna use all the money on those 4 that was budgeted for that.
They're budgeted in our maintenance budget, not as a separate project. So we'll actually be looking to implement more as he identifies locations where they would be good candidates to have those added.
Now, Main Street turning left there by Fortin's, I forgot the name. Is that Saundersville? Is that Saundersville?
Winston Hill.
Winston Hills,
Mhm.
turning left.
Yeah.
There is no light there. It's just a green light
Mm-hmm.
when the cycle light goes out. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a green light.
Yeah.
And that is a heavily trafficked road.
Yeah.
Why can't we do the same thing there at Indian Lake and going on to 386? Why can't we do the same thing there?
I'm sorry. Maybe I don't understand the question.
Okay, when we go out Main Street and turn left on Winston,
Mm-hmm.
going out towards Saundersville Road,
Yeah.
there's a turn light,
Mhm.
but after the turn light runs out, there's not a red light,
Oh,
there's a green light,
permissive, the green ball.
permissive green.
Okay.
Why can't we do that at the location I'm referring to,
Sure.
on
So
386?
primarily it's actually a site distance issue. And so, it's little counterintuitive until you really look into it. But what the issue is you have the 2 lanes coming, and then it branches out into the dedicated right, and then the other 2 lanes. And where it branches out, there's not very good sight distance. And so it's not recommended because of the number of oncoming lanes combined with the sight distance issue. Our traffic engineer has provided the documentation showing why that would not be a good location. And it's actually required to be a protected left, which is the green arrow, which is why it doesn't go to a green ball.
Required by whom?
By the MUTCD, because of the configuration of that approach.
I get a lot of requests
Yeah,
for that because people sit there and nobody's coming the other way. And they just sit there and sit there. And in fact, they're telling me they're breaking the law. They're going to head turn it.
yeah,
They're looking to make sure no police, they just turn.
yeah.
So I don't understand the sight. I mean, I drive that every day
Yeah.
and I can see hundreds and hundreds of feet,
Mhm.
yards, you
Yeah,
know.
when the volumes are
incoming
heavy,
traffic.
unfortunately, it's
It can't be
obstructive.
any heavier though than Main Street there at Winston Hills. It can't be any heavier.
It's just a little different configuration is the problem. So the double serve though should help that significantly. What that means is they'll get the green arrow at the beginning of the cycle and then again at the end of the cycle. So they'll get double green time every cycle, which should help significantly there.
I don't know, I'll tell you this, I mean, this is kind of changing the subject. The other night, and I hadn't been able to do this in a long time, but my dog and I, it had to be, and you might have to tell me, but we were gonna go get a milkshake because we were gonna split it. And it was late, it had to be like 2 or 3 in the morning, and Cookout down at Rivergate is open that late. So we drove down there to get our milkshake.
The best milkshakes in town.
Man, they're good. They really are. We get the cheesecake, blueberry cheesecake. And she loves that. Indy loves that cheesecake. So we went down there and the lights were flashing. And I didn't even know, was that just a mistake on Main Street or do they go on like that? Because, I mean, man, there wasn't anybody out, but it was just, man, we were in and out of there like in 5 minutes. We were there. You know.
Yeah. No, it must have been in Flash because the Flash operation has been discontinued for.
Okay. Well, I figured either we did it or there was a problem because Rivergate was on flash mode too. So I figured, well, it might have been TDOT or something like that. You know, messed up. But man, I was going like, man, this is awesome. Honey, look. And she's too busy looking at everything else in the world. But we went down there and got our milkshakes because we hadn't been able to do that in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went down there and I'm having trouble sleeping anyway. But yeah, I think it was around 2:30 or 2:45 or something like that. So anyway.
Well, they're a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is a good strategy for helping to better flow traffic.
Yeah.
You know, I just wish we would use it in more places. And I'll continue to
fight for it. There you go. There's nothing like that. I have fought. I was thinking about the red light at Rockland Road and Imperial Boulevard Road that I have fought every year for that, you know. But that's okay. You just got to keep fighting. And I finally got a roundabout. You know?
Yeah.
So anyway, okay. Well, thank you for that information on the yellow arrows. Rolling Acres entrance signage.
Yes, we this is at Savely in New Shackle Island.
Yeah.
They're brick entryway signs, and there's also a sign like in their island there. And they are entirely contained on private property.
Huh.
And they were approved and constructed before the city was incorporated through the county. So there is no HOA. There is no maintenance or ownership designation other than the fact they're on private property. So each sign would be owned and maintained by the private property owner. There is one that's been hit again and in need of repair. Of course, the property owner's requesting, they want to grant the city an easement for the city to take
okay.
over the ownership and maintenance of those signs. So obviously it's a notable expense, whether it's private property or the city. We, there have been similar issues in the past, I believe with Windcrest. They don't have an HOA either. They have they have an island in the center and an entryway sign that was not being maintained. The city did not take it over. But the request has been made, so I brought it to the committee for discussion.
So if the city took it over, will we have to replace the brick sign that's been knocked over, which is gonna be several thousands of dollars?
Yes, that's the intent of the request.
Yeah, that thing's been hit 1 billion times.
Yes.
So did, we passed something about signs in neighborhood, decorative signs, that we would pay half of it or something? You recall that ordinance?
There's something through planning. They have a sign grant program, I believe. I think it might be for commercial signs, but I'm not positive that it
I
is.
think it's
The
private.
street-
it's street
signs.
Yeah, it's house and the house.
To do the more decorative.
Because
Yeah.
I remember talking about, because I said, Bergdorf, we've got to do, get everybody around us to have those pretty little signs out, because all we've got is those.
Like in
Green
newer
looking.
subdivisions, like
Pass?
the black
Okay.
school.
So
Yeah, it
that
did
applies
pass.
here? Cause it pays half, right?
I'd have
What
to
did it
read
have?
that again. I'd have to read that again to see the exact wording to know if that would apply or not.
I was under the impression that it was like the street sign instead of like the green street signs.
Right, that's exactly right.
Not like a
Yeah.
entrance sign, and I could be wrong.
No, you're right.
I just
I'm
wondered.
telling you.
You're right, and there was a maximum amount the city would
Yes.
reimburse
Yes,
them.
that's exactly right.
Yeah, and I think it was
Could
like
you
$50.
see if there's any application of that for this?
Sure,
Uh,
All right, we'll put it on for our next agenda.
okay.
All right. Light synchronization verbal update, how are we going on that? Is everything?
We are still waiting for the tip to be amended. It was approved through the policy board this week. The mayor was present and had texted and said that it did pass, so they'll be updating the tip. Once we get that updated, proof of the update, then we'll forward that to TDOT and they will appropriate the CMAQ funds that they said they would apply to this project, and then we can request the notice to proceed for construction.
We're getting close.
Moving.
That's good. And is it Abby? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Did you have anything that you'd like to add to our committee? Everybody, I don't know if y'all know, this was Abby and your last name?
Miller.
Miller.
Yes.
Was gracious enough to sit in our committee, and we're certainly glad to have you.
Yes, thank you.
And whereabouts do you live, Abby?
I go to station camp, so I live back down by the Kroger Marketplace.
Okay, well, we won't hold that against you, because it's out of the city. I'm just teasing. But we're certainly glad to have you, and you come back and see us at any time,
Okay.
and we welcome you into this committee. We might have to make you an honorary committee member.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay. And where do you go to, what grade are you in? I'm sorry.
I'll be a sophomore.
Oh my gosh, okay. So are you thinking about colleges yet?
No, not really.
I don't blame you. I just wait until that senior year and then I'd figure it out. Enjoy your stay in high school. We're certainly glad to have you and
Yes,
welcome.
thank you.
All right. Other business, do we have any other business?
I don't have
We don't have any, okay, well then I just need a motion. Motion to adjourn. Okay. Good deal. Adjourn, 5:46. Good talking to you. Thank you all.
Hello. We'll keep pushing.
Good.
Well, I don't think I explained it very well, but he has a